Toby Ademola, a 35-year-old billionaire, sat in his luxurious living room, sipping a glass of wine. The grand view of the city through his floor-to-ceiling windows didn't bring him any joy. Despite his wealth and status, his heart remained empty. He leaned back and sighed heavily. "Money can't buy love," he muttered. Over the years, he had dated beautiful women from all over the world, but they all wanted the same thing: his money. They didn't see him as a man, just a bank. One evening, his childhood friend and trusted lawyer, Chris, dropped by. Toby opened up to him, his voice filled with frustration. "Chris, I've had enough. I want real love. Someone who sees me for who I am, not my wealth," Toby said. Chris nodded, understanding his pain. "It's not easy, Toby. But what are you planning to do?" Toby leaned forward, a sudden sparkle in his eyes. "I'm about to open the biggest hospital in the city. It's going to be grand, state-of-the-art facilities, highly qualified staff. But I'm not going to be the billionaire owner. I'm going to be a cleaner." Chris raised an eyebrow. "A cleaner? Are you serious?" "Yes. I'll change my name to James. No one will know who I am. I want to see how people treat me when I'm just an ordinary worker. I want to find someone who respects everyone, regardless of status. This is my chance." Chris laughed, impressed. "That's quite the plan. But are you sure you can pull it off?" "I have to. I'll apply like everyone else, as a cleaner. And you will handle the public announcements, saying the owner is out of the country. I want to blend in, Chris. No one must know." Chris agreed. "This will be interesting. I'll support you." The day finally arrived. The hospital's grand opening was the talk of the city. Highly qualified doctors, nurses, medical laboratory technicians, accountants, everyone was present, dressed in their finest. Chris, dressed sharply in his suit, addressed the new employees. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand opening of Starlight Hospital, the biggest in the city. The owner is currently out of the country, but he trusts that you will all do your jobs with dedication and professionalism. This hospital will be under strict management, and the owner expects nothing but the best from every single one of you." The staff applauded, feeling proud to be part of such a prestigious hospital. Many of the nurses whispered to each other, already boasting about how lucky they were to be employed in the largest hospital in the city. Some even looked down on the cleaners standing quietly at the back, including Toby, now known as James. One of the senior nurses, Nurse Vivian, adjusted her crisp white uniform and scoffed. "Imagine working as a cleaner in a hospital like this. Some people have no ambition," she whispered to her friend. Toby, in his simple cleaner's uniform, didn't react. He had to remind himself that he was here to find someone genuine, someone who didn't look down on people based on their jobs. Another cleaner, a grumpy old man named Musa, nudged him. "New here, huh?" Toby nodded. "Yes, just started today. Be careful around these nurses. They act like they own the place," Musa warned, rolling his eyes. Toby smiled. "Thanks for the advice." As the day went on, the staff settled into their roles. The doctors discussed their schedules and medical procedures, the nurses gossiped and bragged about their qualifications, and the cleaners, including Toby, quietly started their tasks. Nurse Vivian, who had been promoted to the head nurse, walked into the hallway and nearly bumped into Toby, who was mopping the floor. "Hey, are you blind? Watch where you're going," she snapped, glaring at him. Toby quickly apologized, keeping his head down. "Sorry, I didn't see you." Vivian huffed. "You cleaners are all the same, lazy and clumsy. This hospital deserves better." Toby bit his tongue, remembering his role. He didn't want to reveal his true identity just yet. As he continued mopping, he noticed other nurses laughing at him from behind. They seemed to enjoy mocking the cleaners, feeling superior just because they wore white uniforms and had medical degrees. During lunch break, Toby sat in the staff cafeteria, quietly eating his meal. The cleaners had their own small table at the corner, while the doctors and nurses occupied the larger, more comfortable space. One of the doctors, Dr. Kelvin, strutted past, glancing at the cleaners with disdain. "Unbelievable. They let anyone work here now," he muttered to his colleague, loud enough for Toby to hear. Chris, who was secretly watching from the management office, couldn't help but shake his head. Toby's really going to see the true colors of people here, he whispered to himself. Toby couldn't help but feel disappointed. Most of the staff were full of pride, looking down on those they considered beneath them. He wondered if there was anyone in the hospital who genuinely respected people, no matter their status. As the day drew to a close, Toby wiped down the hospital entrance doors. His mind was filled with thoughts. Would he ever find true love, or would he always be surrounded by people who only valued wealth and status? Little did he know, his journey was just beginning, and fate had a way of revealing unexpected truths. The sun was hot that afternoon. Inside the big hospital, the cleaners were busy wiping floors and windows. But the nurses? Oh no, they were not working. They were standing in groups, talking, laughing, and showing off. One nurse said loudly, "Can you believe it? We are working in the biggest hospital in the city. Ah, my village people will hear it today." Another one laughed. "I even posted it on Facebook. Nurse Linda, now working in Starlight Hospital. My ex will cry." They all laughed loudly. Nurse Vivian raised her voice. "Let me tell you all, not everybody can work here. We are the best of the best. Those cleaners should know their place and not talk to us anyhow. This is not their level." The other nurses nodded, agreeing with her. Toby, now using the fake name James, was mopping the hallway floor not far from them. He heard everything. They were so proud of themselves, but none of them had manners. They looked down on cleaners like they were nothing. James cleaned quietly. He didn't say anything, but deep inside, he was shaking his head. Later that evening, after work, James sneaked into a small office where Chris, his friend and lawyer, was waiting. Chris smiled when he saw him. "Ah, my billionaire cleaner. How was your first full day?" James removed his cap, wiped his face, and sighed. "Chris, I'm tired. These people, these nurses, some of them are very rude. You need to hear the way they talk to cleaners like we are animals." Chris laughed hard. "Welcome to the world of a common man, my brother. Now you see how it feels." James shook his head. "I thought maybe, just maybe, I'll meet someone real. But with what I've seen today, I don't think true love exists. Everyone is proud. Everyone is fake. They only smile when they think someone is rich." Chris looked at him and smiled. "James, or should I say Toby, calm down. The world has both good and bad people. Maybe today, you met the bad ones. But who knows? Tomorrow might be different. Keep watching." James sighed again. "I'm not even sure I can survive this. Do you know one nurse called me a blind goat today because she nearly slipped on wet floor?" Chris burst into laughter. "Blind goat? This your story will be sweet when it finally ends. Just be strong, my friend." James smiled faintly. "Anyway, I'll keep going. But if by the end of the week I don't see any good person in that hospital, I'll just give up on love and marry money like the rest of them." Chris laughed again. "Let's see how it goes." The next day, very early in the morning, before others came in, James arrived with his mop and bucket. He liked coming early. It gave him peace before the noise began. As time passed, the same proud nurses walked in, heads high, heels clicking. Nurse Vivian entered and shouted, "Where's the cleaner? This floor is dusty. Do you want patients to fall and die? Come out now." James came out quickly and bent down to clean. "Sorry, Ma. I will clean it now." Vivian hissed, "You better, or I'll report you to the management." The other nurses laughed again. One of them whispered, "See him. He even smells like bleach. I can never date a man like this in my life. Imagine me, Nurse Stella, dating a cleaner." They laughed louder. James kept quiet and did his work. As he mopped, one of the male doctors passed and stepped into the wet floor. "Are you stupid? Why didn't you put wet floor sign?" he barked. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll place it now," James replied calmly. "Use your head, not your back," the doctor added. James looked up for a moment, but quickly looked down again. He smiled softly to himself. If only they knew who I am. Later that day, Chris sent a message to James through WhatsApp. "How's day 2 going? Any good people yet?" James replied, "Nope. Just pride, insults, and eye service. But I'm still watching. Chris sent a laughing emoji and wrote back, "Cleaner Toby, may God strengthen you." James dropped his phone and looked around the hospital again. Everyone was busy showing off. But he was still waiting for someone who will look at him and smile, not because of his uniform, not because of money, but because they had a kind heart. In the same big city where the largest hospital had just opened, lived a young woman named Lisa. Lisa was a single mother. Her father, a poor widower, had trained her with sweat and tears. They were very close. Her father sold firewood and old radio parts just to feed Lisa and pay her school fees. Life was not easy, but they managed. Lisa didn't have a mother. She died when Lisa was just a little girl. But her father did everything he could to make Lisa feel loved. Years later, something terrible happened to Lisa while she was still in nursing school. A man she trusted took advantage of her. She was raped and left alone. She cried for weeks. It broke her spirit, but not her strength. She found out she was pregnant. Many people told her to drop out of school, to forget her dreams, but Lisa refused. "I will have my baby and still become a nurse," she said. Her father stood by her side. "You are my daughter, and you are strong," he told her. She carried her baby, went to school with a big belly, and after she gave birth to a baby girl, she continued schooling. Her classmates mocked her, but she never stopped. Years passed. She graduated. She had no fancy shoes, no rich relatives, but she had hope. One evening, Lisa came home with a flyer in her hand. "Papa, see, Starlight Hospital is hiring," she said with excitement. Her father's tired eyes lit up. "Is that not the big hospital we always hear on radio?" "Yes, Papa. I will apply tomorrow." He hugged her tight. "God will do it. You will get the job." The next morning, Lisa wore her only neat dress. She tied her daughter's hair and gave her food. Her neighbor agreed to watch her little girl, while Lisa rushed out. She walked quickly, her CV in a small brown envelope. Sweat poured down her forehead, but she didn't stop. By the time she got to the hospital, people were already seated. She walked in, panting. "Please. I came for the nursing job." The receptionist looked up. You're late. The position was just given out 10 minutes ago." Lisa froze. "What?" she whispered, her eyes wide. "We already picked another nurse. Sorry." Lisa stepped outside. She sat on the hospital step and burst into tears. No. I had so much hope. What will I tell Papa now? That I came late and missed the job." Her sobs caught the attention of someone, Musa, the older cleaner who worked with Toby, now James. He walked up slowly. "Young lady, are you okay?" Lisa wiped her eyes quickly. "I missed the job. They already gave it to someone else. I don't know what to tell my father. He believes I'll return with good news." Musa looked at her and saw something different. "You look like someone who needs a chance, not pity." Lisa stood up suddenly and said, "I can't go home like this. I'll take any job in this hospital. I'd rather be a cleaner than go home and see Papa's face drop." Musa blinked. "You want to work as a cleaner?" "Yes. Please, help me talk to someone." Lisa walked back into the hospital with bold steps. "Excuse me, Ma. I know the nurse job is taken, but I can clean. I can mop. I can do anything. Just let me work." The admin officer was surprised. "You're a trained nurse. You want to clean floors?" Lisa nodded. "I need this job. My daughter and my father depend on me." The officer looked at her for a while, then handed her a form. "Fill this." Lisa smiled for the first time that day. Later that day, James, Billionaire Toby, was mopping the back hallway when he saw Lisa in a cleaner's uniform. She looked new. She bent down and started scrubbing with strength and seriousness. She didn't complain. She didn't look ashamed. James watched from afar. Something about her spirit caught his attention. Musa came beside James and whispered, "That new girl? She's a nurse. Missed the job. Asked to be a cleaner instead. She said she'd rather clean than go home jobless. That girl get fired for body." James smiled softly. Interesting." Musa laughed. This hospital is full of drama. Every day, new story. James kept his eyes on Lisa. He didn't speak to her. Not yet. But deep inside, something told him, keep watching her. That night, Lisa returned home. Her daughter, Blessing, ran to hug her. Mommy, you're back. Yes, my love. Lisa lifted her up with a tired smile. Mommy got a job and I started working immediately. Her father smiled from his wooden chair. I told you, God will make a way. Lisa hugged him, tears of relief in her eyes. It's not what I hoped for, but it's a start. Her father held her hand gently. The job doesn't matter. It's the heart you carry into it that counts. Lisa wiped her tears and nodded. At least, it's something doing. I can't stay jobless. I know this is not the nurse job I wanted, but who knows? Maybe one day, if there's a space, I can still apply. At least I'm already inside the hospital. I'll keep my eyes open for any chance. Her father smiled and nodded. Yes, my daughter. Step by step. God is watching. Lisa looked at her daughter and smiled. For now, we thank God. It's better than nothing. And with that, they all sat together to eat the little food they had, with hope in their hearts. It was Lisa's second day working as a cleaner at Starlight Hospital. She tied her scarf tight and bent down to scrub the floor at the nurse's station. Her back ached, but she kept going. She didn't complain. She was just happy she had something to do, to earn small money for her daughter and father. Suddenly, loud voices filled the hallway. Nurse Vivian walked in with two other proud nurses, Nurse Stella and Nurse Becky. They were chewing gum, laughing, and holding cups of cold juice. As they passed by, Nurse Becky stopped and looked closely. Wait, is that not the girl that came for the nice job? She asked. Nurse Vivian turned. Hen, I think she is the one-o. Nurse Stella shouted. Hey, you came for a nurse job, and now you are holding mop and bucket? Life is not fair. They burst into loud laughter. Cleaner Lisa, Vivian said, mockingly, you should have stayed at home if you knew you were not qualified. See now, you wanted to be a nurse and ended up a mop girl. She has no ambition, Stella added. A whole Starlight Hospital, and you think we'll hire just anybody? Please go and clean toilet Joa. Lisa didn't answer. She kept scrubbing. Her eyes were hot, but no tear dropped. After mocking her, they laughed again and walked away, hips swinging proudly. A few minutes later, James, billionaire Toby in disguise, walked in with Musa. He had heard and seen everything. Musa hissed, these nurses are too proud. One day, they will fall down from their high horse. James walked closer. Lisa, are you okay? Lisa looked up and gave a small smile. I'm fine. That's nothing. I've seen worse. James and Musa sat beside her on the bench. Lisa dropped her mop stick and sat too, breathing deeply. I was trained by my widowed father, she said quietly. I know what hunger is. I know what shame feels like. When I was pregnant in school, people laughed at me. My classmates said I'll never graduate. But I did. So, these nurses' words, it doesn't shake me. Musa nodded slowly. You're a strong woman. I respect you. James smiled. You don't have to prove anything to them. What you're doing now, raising a child, working hard, that's bravery. Just then, Lisa's phone rang. She picked it quickly. Hello. A worried voice came from the other side. It was her neighbor. Lisa, come quickly. Your daughter is not feeling well. She has been vomiting. I don't know what to do again. Lisa jumped up. Oh no. James stood immediately. What happened? Lisa's voice shook. It's my daughter. She's sick. She looked into James' eyes and said, Please, James, I need your help. I want to rush home. If those rude nurses ask for me, please, just cover for me. Please. James nodded. Go. Don't worry. I will handle it. Musa added, We'll tell them you're on lunch break. Don't panic. Go and see your child. Lisa grabbed her bag and ran out. James stood there watching her leave, his heart tight. He didn't know what it was, but something about Lisa's strength touched him. She was not like the others. She had courage. She had fire. She had pain. And she had love. James looked at Musa and said quietly, "Now I understand why some people shine, even when life is hard." Lisa rushed into her small compound, sweating and panting. Her 5-year-old daughter, Blessing, was lying weak on a mat, her lips dry and her body hot like fire. "Mummy," Blessing whispered weakly. Lisa carried her up quickly, tears already rolling down her cheeks. "It's okay, my baby. Mummy is here." She wrapped Blessing in a scarf, held her close, and ran out again. Back at Starlight Hospital, Lisa entered the hospital, holding Blessing in her arms. Her daughter was breathing fast. She ran to the nurse's station. "Please, help me. My daughter is sick. She needs an injection. Fever. Vomiting." Nurse Vivian looked up, her lips twisted. "And so?" Lisa begged. "Please. I work here. I'm a cleaner. Just help me treat her." Nurse Stella rolled her eyes. "Have you paid?" Lisa shook her head. "No, not yet. I don't have money now, but I'll pay soon." Vivian stood up, her voice sharp. "Then leave this place. This is Starlight Hospital, not some village charity. We don't treat people for free here." "But she's just a child," Lisa begged, crying now. Becky hissed loudly. "Go and queue at the government hospital. This one is for rich people." Lisa stood, shocked and heartbroken, hugging her weak daughter tightly. Just then, Musa and James, Toby in disguise, arrived. They saw the scene. Musa's eyes went wide. "What is happening here?" Lisa, in tears, explained everything. James stepped forward. "She works here. Can't you treat the child first and sort the bill later?" Vivian turned sharply. "Cleaner James, don't talk where serious people are talking." James frowned. "What's wrong with you people? A child is sick. Why can't you treat her?" Stella laughed. "Since when did cleaners start giving orders here? You that push mop around, you now want to tell us how to do our job." James stood his ground. "I don't need to be a doctor to know this is wickedness." Becky snapped. "Then pay for her treatment, ogre cleaner. Or keep quiet." Musa stepped forward, fuming. "How can you all be so heartless? Even if she's a cleaner, does that mean her child should die?" Vivian hissed. "Musa, since all your life you've been cleaning, what have you achieved? You want to teach us kindness now? Please shift." Musa shouted, "Even with my mop, I have more heart than all of you with your stethoscopes." Lisa just stood there crying, rocking her daughter gently. Suddenly, a soft but firm voice came from behind. "Excuse me. What's going on here?" Everyone turned. It was Dr. William, a kind-hearted male doctor, known for minding his business but doing his job well. He looked at Lisa and her daughter. "She's burning up," he said quickly. "Bring her to my office. I'll treat her." Vivian stepped forward. "But she hasn't paid, sir." Dr. William raised his hand. "And? She works here, doesn't she?" "Yes, but," Becky tried to talk. "I said bring her. Now." Lisa's eyes widened. "Thank you, sir. Thank you." William gave her a calm smile. "It's okay. Let's save the child first." James looked at William and gave a nod of respect. The nurses hissed and walked away, grumbling. "So cleaners are winning today," Becky muttered under her breath. Inside Dr. William's office, Lisa sat beside the hospital bed, holding Blessing's hand while Dr. William gave her medicine and injection. James stood by the door, watching silently. After the treatment, Blessing's breathing became better. She opened her eyes slowly and whispered, "Mummy." Lisa kissed her hand. "You're okay now, my baby." Dr. William smiled. "She'll be fine. Just let her rest." Lisa turned to him with grateful eyes. "Thank you so much, sir. I won't forget this." "You're welcome," he replied. "You see, not everyone here has a proud heart. Some of us still remember why we became doctors." Outside the room, James sat alone, deep in thought. He looked toward the nurse's station. So much pride. So much wickedness. Then he looked at Lisa through the glass window, holding her daughter and whispering prayers. But also, so much strength. So much love. James slowly smiled. And in that moment, something inside his heart moved. He wasn't sure what it was yet, but he knew this. Lisa was different. Later that day, Nurse Vivian, Becky, and Stella were gathered again, sipping juice and eating puff-puff. Their faces were full of pride as usual. Vivian crossed her legs and scoffed. Can you imagine? Dr. William has now turned Starlight Hospital into charity center. Stella nodded quickly. Yes, oh, treating that cleaner's child for free. Harbor, is this a clinic or motherless baby home? Becky dropped her cup and hissed. One day, the owner of this hospital will show up. And guess what? Yes, I will personally report Dr. William to him. He's doing charity in someone else's hospital, like it's his father's compound. They all laughed. I'll tell the owner that some people are turning his big hospital into a free-for-all center, Vivian added, twisting her mouth. Don't worry, Becky replied. That day is coming. The owner will come, and all of them will be shocked. Meanwhile, in Chris' office, James, who was really Toby, walked into his friend Chris' office, shaking his head and laughing bitterly. Chris looked up from his laptop. Ah, my billionaire cleaner is back. What's the latest gist? Toby pulled a chair and sat down heavily. Chris, you won't believe what I'm seeing in this hospital. Chris smiled. What? I still can't believe the management hired these types of wicked and heartless nurses. If you see the way they treat people and I'm shocked. No respect. No compassion. Chris laughed. But they were all qualified during interview and with the good degrees. Toby shook his head. These ones are not nurses. They are trouble in uniform. Chris laughed harder. So, have you met any good person yet? Or are they all evil? Toby's face suddenly softened. He looked down for a moment and smiled. Actually, yes. There's one person. Her name is Lisa. Chris raised a brow. Lisa. Yes, Toby replied. She came to apply for the nurse job, but she came late. They already gave the position to someone else. She sat on the hospital step and cried. She said she couldn't go home jobless because her daughter and father depend on her. Chris sat up, listening closely. Toby continued. She begged the admin office to let her work as a cleaner. She said she'd rather clean than sit at home. They gave her the job. She started immediately. She didn't complain, didn't grumble. Chris's face changed. Really? Toby's voice dropped. Then, her daughter, Blessing, fell sick. Lisa brought her to the hospital. The same nurses insulted her, mocked her, and refused to treat the child because she hadn't paid. Chris frowned. What? Toby continued. I felt so helpless, so angry. But then, Dr. Williams showed up. That man didn't ask questions. He told Lisa to bring her daughter in. He treated the girl. No delay. Chris nodded slowly. That's Dr. William for you. I know him. He's a pediatrician, a children's doctor. Very soft-hearted. He's not like the others. Toby smiled again. I thank God I still have one good doctor left in my hospital. Chris leaned back. And Lisa, what do you think about her? Toby paused, then said softly, Lisa is different. She doesn't wear pride like the rest of them. She has suffered, but she's still gentle. She's strong, but not loud. You can feel her pain, but you also see her courage. Chris folded his arms and smiled. My friend is falling for a cleaner. Toby laughed. No, I'm just observing. Chris smirked. Observation leads to admiration, then attention, then affection. Toby pointed at him playfully. If you say one more word, I'll transfer you to mop the male ward. They both laughed. Then Chris leaned forward seriously. But Toby, let's not forget your plan. You wanted to find someone who would love you without knowing you're rich. Someone who sees you, not your wallet. James nodded slowly yes. Lisa was in the cleaner's room, sitting quietly beside Blessing, her daughter, who was sleeping on a bench after treatment. Her small chest was rising and falling gently now. No more fast breathing. No more burning fever. Lisa whispered a prayer. Thank you, God. Please bless Dr. William for me. Just then, James knocked and walked in. Lisa stood quickly. Oh, James. Thank you for earlier. You and Papa Musa. I don't know what I would have done. James smiled. How is she now? She's better. Sleeping. You're a strong woman, Lisa. Don't ever forget that. Lisa smiled softly. I just want to do my best for her, and for my father. James nodded and sat beside her. You've done well. Don't let the noise of proud people make you forget your worth. Lisa looked at him with teary eyes. You talk like someone who knows pain. James smiled faintly. Let's just say I've seen the world, and the world is not always kind. They both sat quietly for a while. No words, just understanding. 2 days later, Lisa's daughter Blessing was fully recovered. The fever had gone. The little girl was now running around their small room, laughing and playing with her doll. Lisa looked at her and smiled. God, thank you. I will never forget how James and Musa stood by me. That morning, Lisa woke up early and cooked a small pot of jollof rice with fried plantain. It wasn't much, but it was made with love. She wrapped it nicely into 3 plates, one for James, one for Musa, and one for Dr. William. But Dr. William had already gone out on hospital rounds, so she kept his for later. Later that afternoon, Musa and James were seated behind the hospital building, resting after cleaning the long corridor. Lisa walked up to them with a shy smile, carrying the food. Good afternoon, my friends, she greeted sweetly. James smiled. Ah, Lisa the strong woman. Musa chuckled. See her face, like someone hiding something. Lisa laughed. No, I just brought small food for you both. It's nothing big, but it's my way of saying thank you. For being good to me. For helping me. For standing by me and my daughter. She handed them the plates. I know it's small, she added, but please manage it. James opened his plate and sniffed. Huh, jollof rice with plantain? Lisa, you've just made my day. Musa was already digging in. This one no small o. This is celebration food. They laughed and ate happily. After the food, Lisa and James continued talking while Musa went back inside. Lisa looked at James. You've been very kind to me, James. But tell me, who are you, really? I mean, why did you choose to be a cleaner? James looked at her, his face calm but thoughtful. Well, things haven't been easy for me. I searched for jobs everywhere, but nothing came. No connection, no help. So, I decided to work as a cleaner to help myself. I just couldn't stay at home doing nothing. Lisa nodded slowly. Are you a graduate? James replied, yes. Lisa blinked. Then don't stop applying. Don't give up on your dream just because life is hard now. She placed her hand gently on his shoulder. Look at me. I'm a trained nurse, but I'm sweeping hospital floors. Why? Because I still have hope. I believe that one day there will be a space for me here. So I keep applying. This cleaner job? It's temporary. I won't die here. James stared at her, speechless for a moment. Lisa smiled. Don't give up, James. Promise me you'll keep trying. James nodded slowly. I promise. They both smiled at each other. For the first time in a long while, James felt like someone believed in him, not the billionaire, not the cleaner, but the man inside. Just then, a woman's scream echoed from the reception area. Help. Somebody help. My water just broke. People rushed out to see. A heavily pregnant woman was on the floor, crying in pain. Her husband was panicking, shaking like a leaf. Nurse Vivian and Stella were there, but instead of helping, they just stared. We don't have space for delivery now, Vivian said coldly. Go to the maternity ward. But she can't walk, the husband cried. Lisa, who heard the commotion, dropped her mop and ran forward. She's in active labor. Lisa shouted. We don't have time to move her now. We need to help her here. Vivian rolled her eyes. And who made you a doctor? Lisa ignored her. She quickly asked for gloves and hot water, knelt beside the woman, and began guiding her breathing. Madam, push slowly. That's it. Again, you're doing well. In a few minutes, the baby came out, crying loud and strong. People watching clapped in shock and joy. Even some nurses stood frozen. Just then, Dr. Kemen, a senior doctor, walked in and saw what happened. Who did this? He asked, rushing over. I did, sir, Lisa replied. still holding the baby. Dr. Kemen was stunned. "Are you a nurse?" Lisa wiped sweat from her face. "Yes, sir. I'm a nurse. But I wasn't hired as one. I work here, as a cleaner." Kemen looked around at the other nurses, disappointed. Then he turned to Lisa with respect. "You have golden hands, and a heart of service. Thank you." Lisa smiled, tears in her eyes. James stood at the back, watching everything. And for the first time, he felt proud. Not just of Lisa, but of the choice he made to come here. Later that day, Lisa had just finished helping the new mother and cleaning herself up when the woman's husband walked up to her with tears in his eyes. "Madam, thank you. Thank you so much for saving my wife and our baby," he said, kneeling before Lisa in the hallway. Lisa was shocked. "Please stand up, sir. Don't kneel for me. I only did what I had to do." His wife, now holding their newborn baby, also came close and hugged Lisa warmly. "I don't know what would have happened if you weren't there," she said, her voice shaking. "Those nurses didn't even come close. You, who they call a cleaner, were the one who acted like a real nurse. God will bless you." A few patients who were standing nearby clapped. One cleaner even whistled loudly. James, watching quietly from a corner, smiled to himself. Musa was right, he thought. This girl really get fire for body. News spreads fast. By evening, almost every ward in the hospital had heard the story. Even in the doctor's lounge, people were whispering. "Did you hear that one of the cleaners delivered a baby in the hallway? I heard she's a real nurse but wasn't hired. Why didn't the other nurses help?" Meanwhile, at the nurses' station, Nurse Vivian, Stella, and Becky sat with puffed cheeks and crossed arms. Becky hissed, "All this noise over nothing. So she delivered a child. And so?" Vivian scoffed, Abeg. It's not like she flew to the moon. We deliver babies every day here." Stella added with her sharp tongue, "She's just looking for attention so management will feel pity and promote her. Very soon she'll start forming angel in uniform." They all laughed loudly, pretending they didn't care, but inside, they were shaken. Vivian crossed her legs and snapped her gum. "Let me catch her tomorrow. I will remind her she's still a cleaner." The next morning, Lisa arrived early as usual, dressed in her cleaner uniform. She greeted everyone politely and walked straight Blessing, who was playing in the corner with a coloring book. James and Musa were already seated near the entrance. Musa waved. "Ah, our new midwife." Lisa laughed. "Please leave me, I'm just a cleaner, remember." James smiled. "Cleaner by uniform, nurse by heart." Lisa looked at them, then said, "Honestly, I was only doing what was right. That woman was in pain. Nobody was helping." Musa shook his head. "The world needs more people like you." Lisa sighed. "But now I hear people saying I only did it to show off. That I want management to notice me." James leaned forward. "Let them talk. People will always talk. The important thing is, you did the right thing." Lisa looked at him for a long moment. "Thank you, James. You always know what to say." He smiled faintly. "Maybe I've been in this world longer than you think." They both laughed. Upstairs, in the management office, Dr. Kemen knocked and entered Chris's office. Chris looked up. "Dr. Kemen, good to see you." "I need to talk to you about someone," the doctor said. Chris sat up. "Go ahead." "There's a girl working here as a cleaner. Her name is Lisa. But sir, she's a trained nurse. Yesterday, she delivered a baby right there in the hallway while other nurses stood and watched. The patient and baby are fine because of her." Chris's eyebrows lifted. "She's smart, calm, and clearly knows what she's doing. Honestly, she deserves better than a mop." Chris nodded slowly and smiled. "Thank you, doctor. I'll look into it." As soon as Dr. Kemen left Chris's office, the door opened again. James stepped in. Chris looked up and smiled. "Ah, perfect timing." James walked over and sat down. "What happened?" Chris leaned forward, lowering his voice. "That was Dr. Kemen. He came to talk about Lisa." James's face lit up with interest. "What did he say?" Chris replied, "He said she deserves more than a mop. She delivered a baby in the hallway. Everyone was watching, but she acted. He said she's calm, smart, and clearly trained. James nodded slowly. He's right. I saw everything with my own eyes. Chris looked at him closely. So, what do you want to do about it? James paused for a moment, then spoke quietly. It's time. Chris blinked. Time for what? James smiled. Time to reveal who I really am. Chris leaned back in shock. Seriously? Yes, James said. I've seen enough. I've watched the proud, the lazy, the wicked, and I've seen the good, especially Lisa. Chris crossed his arms. So how do you want to do it? James stood up and looked out the window. Not suddenly. I want you to announce that the hospital owner is finally back in the country and will be visiting the hospital soon. Chris grinned. I see. So you want them to sweat first. James smiled faintly. Exactly. Let's see how they act when they think the boss is coming. The announcement. Later that afternoon, a message was sent through the hospital group chat and posted on the main board. Attention, all staff. The owner of Starlight Hospital has officially returned to the country. He will be visiting the hospital very soon. Please remain professional and ensure all departments are in perfect condition. At the nurse's station, the news hit like thunder. Vivian dropped her cup. Wait, the owner is coming. Becky screamed. What? When? I need to fix my hair. Stella stood, checking her reflection on her phone. I need new lashes before he arrives. He must notice me. Becky jumped up. I'm buying a new wig this evening. A fine curly one. That man must not think we are local. Vivian adjusted her uniform. From now on, no one should play. The owner must see us as serious, beautiful, and hardworking. They all started acting busy, walking fast, speaking in soft tones, and pretending to care about their duties. Outside, the hospital gate, Lisa and Musa were standing under the small mango tree near the gate, talking and enjoying the cool evening breeze. Lisa sighed. The sun today was too much. Musa laughed. This sun wants to roast me like groundnut. They both smiled. Just then, James walked up to them, holding a water bottle. He looked at them calmly. Have you heard? Lisa and Musa turned. Heard what? Musa asked. James looked at them both. The hospital owner is visiting soon. Musa nodded. That's good. It's about time. At least we'll see him face to face. Lisa said nothing at first. Then she looked up and said, I just hope he's kind. James turned to her. Why did you say that? Lisa looked down for a second, then said, because some rich people don't care. They build hospitals, but don't know what's happening inside. I just hope this one cares, and handles this hospital with wisdom and love. Musa nodded in agreement. She's right. Many owners only care about money. James stood still, speechless for a moment. He stared at Lisa, at her honest eyes, and at Musa, who had always spoken from the heart. He didn't say anything. He just smiled quietly. But inside him, something deep moved. She had no idea she was talking to the very owner she was worried about. But instead of feeling insulted, James felt something warm in his chest. She wasn't wrong. But he promised himself that he wouldn't be like that. He would be different. He would prove Lisa wrong, in a good way. It had been 3 full days. 3 days, and James had not shown up at work. No one had seen him. No one had heard from him. Lisa stood near the staff locker area, wiping her hands on her apron. Her face was tight with worry. She looked around once again, hoping she'd see that familiar gentle smile walking down the hallway. But no sign of him. She turned to Musa, who was fixing a mop stick nearby. Musa, have you heard from James? Did he tell you he won't be coming to work? Musa shook his head slowly. No, not a word. I've been worried too. He didn't say anything to me. And we don't even have his phone number. Lisa sighed deeply. Who knows if he's okay? How can someone just disappear like that without telling anyone? She lowered her voice, panic in her tone. What if those rude nurses report him to management? They might deduct his salary or even sack him. And he didn't even ask us to cover for him. Musa frowned. It's strange. That boy never missed work before. Maybe something is wrong with him. Lisa nodded quickly. This is serious. 3 days is too long. We need to tell the management before someone else does. Just as they were talking, Nurse Vivian came marching toward them, her high heels tapping loudly. Her face was firm. Where is that your friend, James? She asked sharply, folding her arms. Lisa quickly answered, he's not feeling well. He told management. He took an excuse. Vivian squinted. I hope so. Because the owner of this hospital can arrive any day now. And this is the 3rd day James has been absent. She pointed a finger. You better call him. Tell him to return to work tomorrow. Or else, he may lose this job. Lisa smiled weakly. Okay, Ma. I will. Vivian hissed and walked away. Lisa turned to Musa again, her worry now deeper than before. Musa, I think I need to go to management myself. Before that woman makes trouble. Musa nodded. Go, please. Before she writes her long complaint. Just say something to protect him. Lisa nodded. I was thinking the same. Musa pointed toward the main building. Go straight to the top floor. That's where the management offices are. Ask for Mr. Chris. He handles most staff issues. Lisa nodded and walked away. Chris's office, later that day. Lisa knocked gently on the door. Come in, Chris called out. She stepped in, hands folded in front of her, eyes a little nervous. Good afternoon, sir. Chris looked up. Yes? How can I help you? My name is Lisa. I'm one of the cleaners in this hospital. I came to speak about my colleague, James. Chris leaned forward, interested. Sir, he hasn't come to work for 3 days now, and we don't have any way to reach him. I don't know if he's sick or something happened, but he has never missed work before. He's a good man. Please, sir, don't deduct his salary. I truly believe something is wrong. Chris stared at her for a few seconds. He was silent, studying her face. Lisa added softly, if you know anyone that can check on him, please do. Chris nodded slowly. Thank you, Lisa. I hear you. Don't worry, I'll look into it. Lisa smiled with relief. Thank you, sir. She turned and walked out. Chris sat back, still thinking. Then he whispered to himself, Toby is lucky to find someone like her. Later that evening, at Toby's mansion, Chris stepped out of his black Jeep and knocked on the giant wooden door of the mansion. Toby opened the door himself, wearing a plain shirt and joggers. Chris? What's up? Chris chuckled. I came to visit my billionaire cleaner. Toby laughed. I needed a few days to clear my head. I've been thinking a lot. Chris walked in and sat down. Well, while you've been thinking, someone has been worried sick about you. Toby raised a brow. Who? Chris smiled slowly. Lisa. Toby blinked. Lisa. Yes. She came to my office today. Said you've been missing at work for 3 days. That she doesn't have your number, but believes something is wrong. She begged me not to deduct your salary. Toby sat down slowly. Chris added, she said you're a good man, and that she's sure you wouldn't disappear without reason. Toby looked away, his heart beating a little faster. Toby looked down, a small smile forming on his lips. Chris continued, that girl, she truly cares about you. It shows in her face, in her voice. That kind of care, you don't find it often. Toby nodded slowly, still smiling. I'll see her soon. The big day had come. After weeks of pretending, hiding, watching, and waiting, Toby Ademola, the real owner of Starlight Hospital, was finally ready to show the world who he truly was. The hospital was sparkling clean that morning. The nurses stood neatly dressed, their faces full of expectation. The doctors had lined up. Staff whispered from one corner to another. The owner is coming today. I heard he's young and very rich. I just hope he doesn't sack anybody. Lisa was at the back of the building, cleaning the windows quietly. She had no idea what was going on inside. She hadn't seen James for days, and it made her heart heavy. Why did he leave like that? She thought. Inside the hospital lobby, the elevator dinged. Everyone turned. A tall, handsome man stepped out, dressed in a sharp black suit, sunglasses on his face. Behind him was Chris, smiling proudly. Gasps filled the air. Wait, is that him? I know that face. Is that James? Musa stood, eyes wide open. No, that's not possible. Toby removed his glasses slowly. He walked with calm boldness through the crowd. Nurses Vivian, Stella, and Becky froze where they stood, mouths open like they saw a ghost. Vivian whispered, James is Toby Ademola. One nurse almost fainted. Musa dropped the mop in his hand, mouth shaking. I've been working with a billionaire and didn't know it. Toby turned and smiled gently at him. Thank you for being real, Musa. At the back, Lisa turned when she heard her name. Lisa. She looked up and dropped the rag in her hand. Her heart froze. James, she said softly. He walked toward her. No, not James, he said gently. My real name is Toby Ademola. I own this hospital. Lisa took a step back. No, stop. Toby stepped closer. Please, let me explain. Her eyes filled with tears. Explain what? That you lied to me? That you made me trust you, while you hid your true self? Toby's voice broke. I only wanted someone who will love me for me, not my money. I didn't mean to hurt you. Lisa shook her head, a tear dropping down her cheek. You lied to me, Toby. You stood by me when my daughter was sick. You sat with me. You ate my food. And now I find out it was all a test. No, Lisa, it wasn't a test. It was real. I was myself with you. Every word. Every moment. Real. Lisa wiped her face. I don't know who you are anymore. You say you're Toby, but I only knew James. And James is gone. Toby took a step closer, but Lisa picked her bag. I'm sorry. I can't do this. And with one long look, she turned and walked away. The hospital fell silent. Staff who had gathered stood still, watching. Vivian and the rude nurses couldn't even breathe. She turned him down. Stella whispered. She walked away from a billionaire, Becky said in shock. Chris slowly walked to Toby, who stood still, looking at where Lisa disappeared. Chris placed a hand on his shoulder. Let her go, Toby. She's in pain. But she will come around. She just needs time. Toby's eyes were red. He didn't say a word. He had everything money could buy. But now, it felt like he had lost the one thing his heart had truly found. The hospital was in complete silence. Lisa had walked away in tears. Toby, the billionaire and secret owner, stood like a statue, his heart broken in front of the entire staff. But that wasn't the only shock of the day. All the nurses, doctors, cleaners, and admin workers now knew the truth. James the cleaner was Toby Ademola, the real boss they had never seen. In the nurse's room, Nurse Vivian sat on the chair, pale like someone who had just seen a ghost. She held her chest. God, we mocked him. We insulted him. We chased him with mop and water buckets. Nurse Becky paced around. I called him names. I told him he smelled like bleach. I told him he was just a cleaner. Nurse Stella covered her face. He heard us laugh at Lisa. He watched us ignore her sick daughter. Vivian looked at them, her voice shaking. We are finished. That's the billionaire. And we treated him like rubbish. Becky cried. He even mopped floors with us laughing behind him. Who would have imagined? I'm sure he won't forgive us, Stella added. In the doctor's lounge, some doctors also stood in shock. Dr. Ben, who once shouted at James for wet floor, was sweating. That was him. And I told him to use his head, not his back. Another doctor whispered, he's been watching all of us this whole time. Dr. William, who treated Lisa's daughter, simply sat quietly. He wasn't shocked, he was proud. Because he had done the right thing when no one else would. 2 hours later, in the hospital hall, Chris stepped forward and spoke loudly. All staff, report to the general lobby. The owner, Mr. Toby Ademola, wishes to address everyone. They all came. Everyone. Doctors, nurses, cleaners, technicians, even kitchen staff. They stood in rows, heads bowed, fear written on their faces. Toby walked in slowly, now in a smart traditional outfit. His eyes scanned every face. No smile. No jokes. Silence. He stood in front and spoke in a calm, deep voice. When I decided to open this hospital, I wanted a place where every life mattered. Rich or poor. Big man or small cleaner. But what I saw broke my heart. Some of you, nurses and doctors, carry pride like a badge. You mocked people who came for help. You laughed at pain. You treated cleaners like trash. Toby's voice became sharper. A staff's child was sick. Instead of showing care, you showed cruelty. Instead of kindness, you mocked her. Vivian bit her lip, shaking. Toby continued, "The purpose of this hospital is not to wear fine coats and walk with pride. It is to save lives, to help the weak, to care for the sick. If your heart is not in this job, you have no business being here." A few nurses burst into quiet tears. He turned and pointed gently. "But some of you shined like gold in the middle of the darkness. Dr. William, you acted like a real doctor. You treated a child not because of money, but because of duty. You are promoted to senior pediatric consultant of this hospital." Everyone clapped. Dr. William bowed quietly. "Dr. Kemen, you stood up, not just for a patient, but for a colleague. You brought Lisa's work to my attention. I'm proud of you. You'll now lead the emergency unit." More claps. "Musa." Toby looked at the old cleaner with soft eyes. "You earned my deepest respect. You spoke when others were silent. You stood with the weak. You've served long enough. From today, you are promoted to staff welfare supervisor. You'll never touch a mop again." Tears rolled down Musa's cheeks. "Thank you, sir. Thank you." And finally, Lisa. Everyone turned. Toby looked at the empty space where Lisa used to stand. He cleared his throat. "Lisa came here hoping to be nice. She came late. But she didn't leave. She took a mop instead. And yet, when lives were at stake, she acted like a trained nurse. She delivered a baby in a hallway with no gloves and no help." His voice shook slightly. "From today, Lisa is the new head nurse of Starlight Hospital." The crowd clapped. Some clapped in shame, some in joy. But Lisa wasn't there. Toby looked at the crowd again. "Let this be a lesson. Never judge people by what they wear or where they work. Because that cleaner beside you today might just be your boss tomorrow. This hospital will change. From today, we will no longer walk in pride but in purpose. If you cannot show kindness to the least among us, you are not worthy to wear this hospital's uniform." Vivian burst into tears at the back. "I'm sure he will sack me. I was the worst." Stella whispered, "Let's beg him." Becky shook her head. "After all we said to Lisa? After all we did to James? I don't think he will forgive us." Meanwhile, Toby looked around, but his heart was not at peace. He had said what needed to be said. He had done what needed to be done. But Lisa, the one person he wanted to see, was gone. He looked out the window, his heart heavy. "Where are you, Lisa?" 2 days later, Lisa was at home, lying weak on her small mattress. Her eyes were puffy from crying. She hadn't eaten. Her daughter, Blessing, sat quietly beside her, holding her mother's hand. Her father paced around the small room, worried. Suddenly, the neighbor rushed in, holding a phone. "Lisa, Lisa, you're on the news. Come and see." Lisa sat up slowly, her body still weak. The TV volume was turned up. And there it was. Asterisk in a dramatic turn of events at Starlight Hospital. The true identity of the hospital's owner, Mr. Toby Ademola, was revealed. He had worked undercover as a cleaner for several weeks. In his official speech, he promoted several people, including a young woman named Lisa, who was once mocked by staff. Lisa has now been made the head nurse of the hospital. Asterisk. Lisa gasped. Her hand covered her mouth. Head nurse. Her father jumped with joy. "My daughter, you did it. You finally made it." Tears rolled down her cheeks, not from pain this time, but from joy and surprise. Toby couldn't wait anymore. He turned to Chris in the office. "Chris, bring me Lisa's employment form. I need to know where she stays. I'm going to see her now." Chris nodded. "I was waiting for this moment." Minutes later, Toby drove himself in his white SUV straight to Lisa's compound. He got down and rushed in. The small room was filled with silence when he entered. Lisa looked up slowly. She was weak, but her eyes were wide with shock. "Toby," she whispered. He walked straight to her, bent down, and gently carried her in his arms. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have waited this long." He turned to her father. "Sir, please, let me take you and Blessing with us. I'll make sure she gets proper care." Lisa's father couldn't believe his eyes. "God, is this real?" In Toby's mansion, doctors arrived quickly. Lisa was placed in a clean white room with soft sheets and calm music playing. Blessing and her grandfather were also given their own rooms. Nurses attended to them with care. After a few days, Lisa regained her strength. Her face returned to normal, and her smile came back. Toby came to her bedside and sat gently. "Lisa," he began softly, "I never meant to hurt you. I only wanted to find someone real, someone like you. I hid my identity, but my love was never fake." Lisa looked at him, then looked at her daughter who was playing on the couch, and her father who was nodding with approval. She took a deep breath and said, "Toby, I forgive you." Toby smiled in relief and hugged her tightly. Thank you so much." Weeks later, Lisa started working as the head nurse of Starlight Hospital. She wore her new uniform with pride and moved with purpose. Staff who once mocked her now greeted her with respect. Nurses Vivian, Becky, and Stella came to her office with their heads bowed. "Lisa, please," Vivian began. "We're sorry for everything. Please forgive us." Lisa stood up and said softly, "I forgive you. But let this be a lesson. Don't ever look down on anyone." They nodded, tears in their eyes. 1 month later, Toby invited the entire staff and media to a grand hall inside the hospital for a special announcement. He stepped forward with a big smile and said, "Today, I want to make the biggest decision of my life." He turned to Lisa and held her hand. "In front of everyone here, I want to ask, will you marry me?" Gasps filled the room. Lisa smiled brightly, tears in her eyes. "Yes, Toby, I will." The hall erupted with claps and joy. 2 months later, they got married in a beautiful garden wedding. Flowers, music, and joy filled the air. Blessing wore a white dress and called Toby Daddy with joy. After the wedding, Toby made one more surprise move. He promoted Lisa again, not just as head nurse, but now as head of Starlight Hospital. Lisa now stood where few ever reached. She wore a fitted suit, held the MIC at a staff meeting, and addressed everyone. "This hospital is not just a building. It is a home. Everyone, no matter their position, deserves respect. From today, if anyone is found treating a fellow staff or patient with pride or wickedness, you will lose your job. We are here to save lives, not crush hearts." The staff clapped, and as Toby stood beside her, smiling like the proudest husband in the world, Lisa knew something deep in her heart. She didn't just find a job. She found her purpose. She found her place. And she found true love. The end.